Welcome back to one of my favorite incrementals I have ever come across. Finn Dorset's Institute for Livestock Replication. That's a mouthful. It's a very long title, but we reached $1 million last time, and the goal for this episode is to reach $1 billion. Let's see if we can get a billion. If it's too easy, we're going to aim it for a trillion, but I think a billion is fairly far out for us to give us quite the challenge. So, as you can see, the wool is stacking up. All the sheep we have a 10,000 sheep, and they are basically filling up our storage. So we could buy new rigs for about $1 million each, or we could make the rigs way bigger. Right now, each rig is carrying 4,500 kilograms. I think this brings it to 15 tons. Is that accurate? Damn. So now each big rig will basically carry, like, I want to say 3/4 of the total storage we can carry. That's huge. So with that in mind, let's increase the price from $10 to $12. Yeah, $12 per ton. No, per kilogram, something like that. In the meantime, I'm looking over here, and the number of sheep is remaining quite stable, in part because of these damn hawks that keep eating our sheep. They are making it a little bit hard. Look at that. They took 357 sheep from us. That's a big ass number. That's a big ass number. So how can we fight that? Well, we can make our scarecrows better, which is something we can try. I mean, it costs 2 million. Or we can make cloning more efficient. Like if we just spam click, it's going to give us 12 clones. That's fine. Every time we click, we spend $8. No, every time they click, it spend $8. I don't think I'm spending money when I click. I'm not sure. So we can make the space geese go from every 2 seconds, click every 1.5 seconds. It's okay. We can make the clone tower better. And I think it makes our clicking more efficient. We can get more space geese. Oh, well, you know what? For 91,000, I'll get it. We spent like $250,000. We got a couple extra birds. That's not bad. I'm not gonna complain about that part. But I think, yeah, I think there's no other way. We gotta get this sophisticated AI scarecrow, but we might just be able to kind of like see if we can push production a little bit this way. So what are we gonna do? These damn things, I don't think there's much I can do about it, but let's see. Clone tower 85, 190, those are things we can afford. They're cheap. We just gotta double our money and get to the sophisticated AI because it's causing high losses. I mean, I can spam click a little bit and that certainly helps. But I think the more we spam click, I mean, the more sheep we have overall, the more hawks are going to be created. Like their population is very proportional to what we have, which makes sense. I guess it's like, you got to be able to sustain a population. And the more sheep we have, the more wool production goes up. There's no number that tells us the wool created per second, but usually you look at this percentage number. It's a pretty decent indicator of like how fast we're growing that number. Oh, advanced cloning technology. Oh, that's just going to reduce the price for each clone from $2 down to $1.50. We're already dealing in the millions. I understand we're getting thousands of sheep, but it doesn't seem like that big of a like a necessity. The idea of like, oh, we get to spend instead of $12, we're gonna spend $8? Like that doesn't seem like the biggest necessity, really. I think avoiding having hundreds of sheep being eaten is probably the best way to keep this number growing as fast as possible. What's our cap? 30K, 30,000, and then we're gonna have to buy this regional buyout. It's gonna bring the cap to 70,000. No, yeah, 70,000. And look at this. This is my favorite part of the game. The art style is actually incredible. Like, look at these beautiful sheep starting to populate the mountains around us. The game does a really good job at displaying the upgrades. Oh, look at this. The scarecrows have an AI upgrade. I would say, like, let's keep an eye on the scarecrows, see if they look any different. Unfortunately, that did not look different at all. But normally, with each upgrade, we can see things start to look a little bit different. Maybe in the animation, when the scarecrows show up, they're going to look slightly different. But like with each upgrade, things look slightly different. Like this guy, Finn Dorset, which, by the way, the game is called Finn Dorset's. What is it called? Damn, I'm losing the name. Finn Dorset's Institute for Livestock Replication. Apparently, Finn Dorset is just a name of a sheep kind. I think it's like generic sheep we like to imagine. That's the Finn Dorset sheep style. I don't sheep species. So that's interesting. I thought it was a neat thing. I want to share with you guys. We could get more wool, which would increase our storage a little bit. It would not be a it would be like a 20% increase or something like that. Like it's nothing negligible. I think it's a very respectable amount. But maybe it's time we start investing in either space keys or clicks. Not the jelly. The jelly is cool. It explodes and it basically does what one of our clicks can do. It's not the most absurd thing. I think the more we upgrade it, the more it's going to increase. Yeah, right now, each pop is equivalent to one manual click. It's going to cost 11 million to upgrade it, but I think eventually, when you get there, it's going to be significantly better. I think I'm going to upgrade my click. So now, okay, that was substantial. We went from 11 per click to 30 per click. That's pretty substantial. So I think that's going to help quite a bit. Maybe, yeah, one more Space Goose. How many do we have? Let's check the... Okay, 8 of them clicking around. They look lovely. Yeah, I think this was a good one. Look how fast, with 18,000 sheep, we are boosting this storage so much. The issue is that these big rigs, they're kind of like infrequently enough. They're showing up infrequently enough that we get some gaps in which, like this rig. This rig is not going to get in time. It did get in. Yeah. It barely got there in time. And as we increase production, it's basically going to create these little downtimes when we're waiting for a rig to show up. And then this next rig is just going to take not enough to really make a dent. Well, maybe at this point, it's actually making a dent. But like these rigs, these are completely useless. Especially the second one right there. That did nothing. So something to keep in mind for us. Space Goose, we can make him better to click a little bit more often. I think that's okay, but I'm looking at the bottleneck, and it looks like the main bottleneck is right here right now in the total storage. So what can we do? More storage, or now the bikes are going to become better. Yeah, the bikes can almost carry a ton, and we have 10 of those bikes. They're relatively cheap if we want to buy a ton. So let's try this actually. Now each bike is able to carry 1 ton. Not a lot, but with few thousands, we spent $500,000 there for the last bike. But I think with this number, the bikes can really start kind of bridging the gap from where the big rigs go. There's low losses with the Hawks. They haven't been an issue for a minute. I'm sure they will become an issue very soon again. But let's make our space keys a little bit better. Now they click every 1.5 seconds. That's awesome. And what upgrades are we looking at next? More capacity sounds fine, right? Making the cargo bike even better. Okay. It goes from 900 capacity to 1800 capacity. Basically doubles the capacity. Oh, that's going to make the cargo bikes relevant again, basically. They used to be our only way to transport stuff, but still about 10% of a big rig, but pretty substantial. Otherwise, we can wait it out until we get the extra money. But I don't know. Look at this storage. It's filling up so fast. I low-key want to make sure we maximize the tonnage of wool that we have, the production. To me, it doesn't make sense to wait and just waste it. But look at this. We're almost also hitting the cap here. So eventually we would want to get to that higher number above that 30,000. Wow, Hawks are down to 13. That's impressive. These scarecrows are very impressive. So I think in basically no time we're about to hit this 30,000 cap. So not a problem at all. Pretty good for us. This turns out to not be that important of a upgrade. Yeah, I cannot think this being important. What about this wool dome? Still 6,400 kilograms. Not the most insane thing really out there. What else could we look at? The manual button, pretty cool, but we're almost at the cap, so not doesn't matter. Molecular disruptor. Interesting. Zap your enemies with disruptor pulses from this dark tower. A static defense spire that can be upgraded. Attacks many hostiles with each pulse. I think it's going to attack the Hawks, which is the only hostiles that we've seen so far, but I imagine that's kind of hinting at the idea that there's going to be many more other hostiles in the future. We could get a bigger cargo. That could be kind of nice, but it costs $1 million. Look at this. We're at the cargo bike upgrade. Let's see what happens by upgrading this one, because we just doubled capacity for 15 bikes. So let's say 1,000. Let's round this to 1,000 kilograms. We just increased basically 1,500. Yeah, we basically bought that to make every bike a little bit more like the big rigs. Don't know if that was super worth it, but it feels acceptable. But yeah, this molecular disruptor makes it seem that there's going to be more enemies aside from the Hawks eventually. Don't know what, but we'll find out. Move massive payloads of wool into orbit using this new developed spacecraft. Skyrocket your wool cells into space. Interesting. It can move 100 tons. So I guess it's going to be like an extra one. Like we had the bikes, we had the big rigs. I guess here we'll have the spaceship, 100 tons. That's interesting. Storage full. Look at that. We are at max capacity. I think I want to wait for the regional buyout. We have filled out these mountains essentially. So I guess now we got to fill out those mountains. We're in a good space to get the regional buyout, 5.4 million. I think now if we pay attention to the appearances, we should start to notice sheep in these back mountains. And if we look at the laser, it seems to be pointing at the back mountains now. Like it's no longer just pointing at the fields. It's starting to point at, like, that's what I like about this game. Like it really paid attention to the style. Look at this. Now we see little dots over here. Like that's like nice attention to detail that I don't think a lot of games do these days. I mean, part of it is that this game is made by what I can assume is more somebody who's like considers themselves an artist first and a game developer second. And in part of it, in a negative way, it does show, because this game, we needed 5 million. We waited a little bit and we were able to progress to there. But if I were to close this game, it would not progress a single minute, which sucks because it means you got to keep the game on your screen at all times. And that is not insane. Oh my God, what the fuck? I just noticed we got eco-terrorist. This guy kind of showed up and he seemed to be lasering my sheep. He has like a little thing with a node sheep on. What the fuck? That's insane. Okay, so that's a new threat that we need this molecular disruptor for. But for now, it looks like our ton storage is going well. Oh my God, look at this asshole. Damn. We're going to have to find a way to fight this guy. I don't know how. I mean, I do know how. It's just going to be insanely pricey. The iron wool dome, it feels like putting a band-aid on top of a bigger wound here. Like, this is not necessarily doing much for us. On the bright side, we are increasing our number to 33,000. As long as that number goes up, I'm not as concerned with the losses from these things. And even the game recognizes this. The doom level is pretty low. There's low losses. So now we can... Alright. Interesting upgrade. I imagine... Well, I don't know. It says like the Space Goose, they pick over once every 1.5 seconds. And now it's going to be about once every 1.5 seconds. Like, you see how the language... I have to imagine it's just going to be faster. But it's a little bit weird how that's the same number as before. All right, so stealing 300 sheep by hostiles. That's expensive. Not expensive. It's just a pain in the ass. I want this number to grow as much as possible. And what's the next one? All right, the next upgrade is going to bring us to 100K worth of sheep. And it's only 8 million. It's a surprisingly low number considering that the previous upgrade was like 5 million, 5.4 million. So this could be afforded relatively quickly. Maybe I want to look at the freight rocket, but we could probably manage if I buy a couple of these, just a couple big rigs. They're gonna help. Bigger production of sheep, that should be nice. I think this should be able to like carry us for a while. And you know what? 2 million is starting to become like a bit of a smaller number for us in relative terms. So maybe I could start thinking about upgrading this. $12 is really not the thing that's gonna, how do you say it? Break the bank. So I don't super care about it right now, but like it could be something we could start looking at. We could also get another dome. Again, these domes are fine. They're not the be all end all. I'm just hoping for that one big upgrade, that new next thing after domes essentially. So let's see if it shows up right here, what it's gonna be. Another dome. All right, well, I guess we're stuck with these domes for a while longer. At least storage seems to be generally under control. I mean, the increase in big rigs and upgrades to the cargo bikes seems to have helped, but it's not going to hold up for long once we reach a number like 70,000 sheep. In fact, I might even consider the upgrade that brings us to 100k sheep. Like that probably seems a lot more interesting out there. I saved up $10 million to buy this real estate, but we still have like 30,000 extra sheep worth of space. And look at this, for only 9 million instead of 8.2 million, we could make our sheep will go from $15 per pound per kilogram to $20 per kilogram. That's a massive upgrade. I think we cannot pass that one up. Like that is such a huge boost in our economy. It just makes sense. And by the time we get to the capacity, we're easily going to reach this 8 million figure. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Look at this. We were at 10 million when we started talking. We bought something that was worth 9 million. We're already at 5. Like, this is pretty good. Let's see how much we get paid per bike. 36K per bike, 300K per full big rig. I mean, I think we're in a good place from an economics perspective. Like, 30K, 36K per bike is not a big deal, but like 300K per big rig is massive. This is insane. I think we'll be able to afford that right after these couple big rigs finish their thing. And look at that, exactly. Now we can have up to 100K sheep. I imagine it's going to let us go from populating this section to populating this outer mountain section. That's my best guess. And super massive land grab. Expand your farm into the entire surrounding area, everything the light touches. Add substantially more sheep for livestock, clone up to 1 million sheep. This is a 10x increase. This is not going from 30 to 70 to 100K. This is 1 million. All right. That's going to be a big one. That's going to be a big jump for us, but I'm kind of into it. I want to see us get there. At the same time, these damn birds are annoying. I don't know if I should be concerned about it. I mean, I could just click a little bit and make sure we can get there faster, but I'm a little bit concerned about these birds kind of like showing up and start to be a pain in the ass again. Like they're up to 800 again, and we're only scared of 350. We basically have too many sheep for us to protect what these hawks are taking. We got 51,000 sheep. What do we buy next? I think we're going to go for the molecular disruptor tower because we're starting to lose a ton of stuff. Look at this. 2.46 thousand hawks. I mean, let's see what this does. This tower right here. This just showed up. We still have all the hawks. Let's see. Okay, it did. Oh, look at that. Those hawks are dying. Oh my God, from 2,500 all the way to 900. And we can increase it. Of course, 653 million. That is not an affordable price, but I appreciate them giving it to us. And the next Scarecrow upgrade is going to cost 50 billion, 60 billion, excuse me. So not anytime soon. Let's see what else we could look at. Maybe freight technology, we could invest in that rocket. So maybe let's get one. I think that's a good idea. Okay, so here we got the rocket. The only way, I mean, this rocket can carry 100 tons. So the only way we can make good use out of it is to make sure that we have way more than 100 tons of storage, essentially. So I think the next upgrades are just going to go hard on the storage. And look at this. I love that they added that little rocket in this shit. The little rocket's going crazy. Let's increase the geese because I want it to be faster. Even though it said that it goes from 1.5 second to 1.5 second, I want him to be better. And now it's a little bit cheaper as well. Why not? It's not the end of the world, honestly. Zero G Laboratory. Work towards cloning machines designed to operate in space. Clones will only cost $1 due to space-related technological advancements. So again, nothing to be insane about, but it's cool. It's cool. And look at this freight rocket. It's landed and soon it's gonna take off. Oh, look at that. Beautiful shit. Beautiful stuff. Let's increase the storage. 56 tons of storage. 57, I mean. The hawks are showing up, but every time this thing goes off, it kills hundreds of them, and it brings him down to the double digits. Look at that. Down to 4 hawks. Okay. Down to the single digits. So this thing is working fantastically. This was an amazing upgrade, especially to increase the number of stuff for spawning. Now we make 35 per click. I mean, this thing is just helping everybody. So they do 80, I'll do 40. That's going to be able to help us push those numbers. But you know what? We're at max storage capacity. We're at max. I don't think it makes that much sense to really increase the cargo bikes anymore. They are a drop in a bucket relative to the other stuff. Let's see what this does. The freight capacity flies at double speed. That's cool and all, but maybe capacity is a little bit better, especially considering the cost of 23 million versus 8 million. I think the 8 million is going to be a much easier one to justify buying in the short term. What else is getting my attention? I think this one could be good. What heavy peck every 1.25 seconds. It seems ridiculous, but we do have 8 geese, and we could actually get some more. I mean, this only costs 5 million. No, 5 million is quite the expensive thing, and we have 7 million. So right now, it's not necessarily a negligible expense, but it's one that I think will be worth it eventually. Would I want to buy a big rig for 3.5 million? I don't think so. I think the freight rocket might be our future, right? I mean, it just seems a bit. I think the freight rocket idea, so increasing storage in a big way, could be the big step forward. But man, these very small incremental growths to our storage is really a pain in the ass. Like, I am hoping to get that upgrade that goes like this one. It goes from 100K total sheep to 1 million. I'm hoping for that kind of storage that goes from 64,000 kilograms, 6,400 kilograms of wool, all the way to 60,000 kilograms of wool. Like, I want those kind of upgrades. So unfortunately, we're not hitting those just yet. Sucks to suck. It is what it is. We'll keep upgrading until it kind of like happens, right? One shit later, and we have reached almost 100K sheep. So let's buy that expansion. That's a pretty big one. Let's get the iron wool dome, and let's see what's the next one. Oh, storage seems to be the main issue at this point, so I'm kind of eager to see what's going to show up. Another one. Okay, sure. Let's see what's the next one. I mean, making the freight rocket twice as fast seems very nice, of course, but we could get. This is what I'm looking for. Yes, 1,000 tons of wool storage. That's exactly what I'm waiting for. So we're 1.5 million away. We just gotta get there. We're not that far out. There we go. Look at this storage. It went from 100% basically to 7%. That's amazing. All right, so now this is gonna fill out. So we gotta increase our freight system way more. Like, that's the next upgrade. 23 million to basically double the freight rocket's pickup is essential, but yeah, that's still gonna be a lot. Like, look how this thing keeps increasing. It doesn't decrease at all. Basically, yeah, okay, the freight rocket did it, but by the time it comes back, it's gonna be way more than the 270 it picked up last time. Do I want to increase the big rigs? I don't think so. I think the real increases is in upgrading these things. And maybe the big rig goes from 15,000 to 30,000 kilograms. Something like that maybe allows us to purchase more freight rockets so we can have 2, 3, 4, 5 going. Like those are the big upgrades I'm thinking that could work here. So let's get that upgrade for the freight rocket. We could technically afford a purchase of this interspecies neural map that's gonna make our sell or will be like $5 more pricey. That's not bad. But how do I compare that to the freight rocket carrying 50 more tons of wool per load? It's a little bit a tough choice because they're worth about, well, they're not worth about the same. But this one's like a good 20% boost, 25% boost to your money. And this one's just like 35% boost to your load, but it's only one of them and not all of them. I think I'm going to get the money for now. And we're going to deal with the fact that we have way too much production, which is fine. You know what? It's good that we have good production. You know what? This format, no, we're going to save the money. We're going to wait for this 37 million because it's just, okay, it's fine. Let's get it. It's only 4 million. It doesn't matter. Now we spend $1 per clone and it allows us to see what's going to show up here. 11 million. I'm not really ready to spend more money on the jelly, but what does this one do? It makes the clones cost 50 cents per clone. That, again, very negligible. Probably the least important of the upgrades, but it's there. All right, time to get this rocket upgraded. Still no ability to purchase more freight rockets. I have to imagine it's going to be the next thing, right? It's got to be right here. It has to. Freight rocket fleet hangar. All right. And a large network of underground hangars for commercial spacecraft buys your second freight rocket and enables additional purchases. Can purchase additional rockets. Rockets still move 150 tons. So that's going to be the big step forward for us in being able to go from what's essentially like a maxed out storage system to being able to like access this insane production that we have with 140,000 sheep. And in terms of sheep, look at this. We are covering even the faraway hills / mountains. I don't know when it stops being a hill, when it becomes a mountain, but these are the ones. $32 million dollars. That's not bad. The advertising's been good. The next advertising upgrade will bring our price per kilogram from $5, from $25 to $30. So another $5 increase. The next storage increase adds another 1,000 tons. I don't think that's going to really make a difference. Also, it costs $510 million. It's very unaffordable. Same with multimedia subliminal advertising. Also $500 million, basically, $450. The final Scarecrow upgrade could be interesting. Right now, I don't think it's been very necessary, so I think we're fine with sitting it out for a little bit longer. But love the art. Look at this little scarecrow between the buildings like that. It's kind of fire. What is this? Oh my god, this is the underground storage system. I see. And is it me or his chair is getting way fancier? Like, I don't remember this whole like little thingy up here. Let's see if I can stop him. Never mind. I'm just speeding him up. Fair enough. I don't remember this whole little thing up there above his head. So that's new for sure. And this little thing, all right. Oh my god, I didn't notice this. There's sheep inside the buildings. We have cloned sheep inside of the buildings. Please stop your stupid laser jets. There's also way more things around. Okay, so these are like the new EcoSec forces, but I don't know what that one is. That one doesn't seem to have the same EcoSec thing. Okay, let's get the better rockets, of course. Like at this point, them destroying my sheep doesn't matter because technically we're not taking advantage of our sheep production anyway since we're always maxed out. So having the extra rocket will be good. Now, moment of truth, how much would one extra rocket send me back? Please be less than 20 million. 61 million. Damn it, that is so pricey. Oh, that is basically as unaffordable as it gets, and doesn't even make sense to buy this one. For now, I mean, it's a tenth of the value of a rocket, right? So as long as it's a tenth of the price or less, it's still worth it. And technically, it is less than a tenth. It's three. Like if it reaches 6 million, then it stops being worth it. So I guess it's buy it. I'm gonna buy one more 8 million just because, but I think it's no longer worth it. 6 million was really the last purchase that made sense from a math perspective, if we want to look at it that way. But we kind of have reached max of the big rigs of the utility. The spending a million on the bikes just doesn't make sense at all. They are completely outclassed by the other two options at this point. It doesn't even qualify as like a good purchase. And hold on. Are we finally managing our wool production? Like we are selling as much wool as we're making? There's no way. There is no way, right? We are about to hit 100% again. So not there just yet, but the big rigs are actually kind of carrying a little bit. They're carrying us just a bit. Just enough to kind of edge that little production until the two rockets show up. That's not bad. We're doing well, basically. This is not going to hold up for long, but it might hold up enough for, ooh, that's a big upgrade. Look at that. The next upgrade use matter compression technology to compact the entire interior of your spacecraft. Greatly increases wool transport capacity of freight rockets. It can move 350 tons. That would be a very big upgrade. Would it be worth waiting for this, or should I just get maybe a couple rockets at 61 million, 70 million? That's a tough one. I think I'm tempted to the 61 million purchase, but again, it's not as clear cut as I thought it would be. I am way more tempted than I thought it would be. Yeah, I think that's kind of a good deal. How much do we get per sale? So 375K per big rig, fair enough. And I guess this is going to be 3.7 million. Do I have that right? 3.75 million. Yeah, okay. So actually kind of a good deal. We could probably afford our next rocket before these two guys come back. 61 million. Well, it depends how many big rigs go, but these guys 45K. At this point, 45K is a drop in a bucket. That's why this thing, doesn't even matter that we get to spend 50 cents per clone. I don't think so. I don't think it doesn't even matter at this point. Oh, we can get the next rocket. I will actually do one thing and just wait for them to be like in the middle of the road. So maybe it distances it. Maybe it sets it a little bit further apart. Like now, if it like starts with the deployment here, it's going to be a little bit distance, kind of like spacing them out. Hopefully it makes a difference. I don't really know. And let's see what the next one will cost. The next one will cost 77 million. All right. So within an expected price range, it's not really being insanely more pricey. Also interesting. It took a while to deploy, and it was the second it stops that little deployment image thingy, that's when it leaves the hangar. So, all right, something to keep in mind for the future. I think I will save for at least one more rocket, maybe two, and then we'll get the increase to the freight rockets. Look at this. We might actually, like 92, 93, we're doing it. We are at a basically equilibrium. It's a very tenuous equilibrium, which is going to be messed up by the more sheep we get. So it's going to absolutely tilt in favor of the fact that we're going to have too much storage. But for now, we are selling as much wool as we're producing. In fact, we're selling slightly more as I'm looking at things. That's amazing. So with just 3 rockets, we are keeping like well below 50% utilization of our storage. So you might be wondering, why am I going to buy a 4th rocket and why am I going to buy this upgrade right now? Well, that's because the number of sheep in our colony seems to be just going up. Like it's just going to go up. We don't have enough dangers to really affect our production. So I think from 180K, the production per second or per minute, whatever you want to count, however you want to count it, it's going to keep going up. At least a minimum, it's going to quintuple up to 1 million. And we got to be able to account for that. So I think having this upgrade now helps us get a better set for the future. So let's get the 6 million upgrade. Let's spend 5 million on an extra goose. Let's actually spend 10 million for have 10 total, 10 total birds, exploding jelly. Go ahead. Now you're gonna do 80, which is twice as much as how much we do when we click. And it seems to be also slightly faster, if I'm not wrong. We also get to have once every second a pack instead of once every quarter. Multiply that by 10. That's a pretty nice boost to our production. We get a couple clicks in this one, and now each goose is, instead of doing 8, it's doing 10 clicks a second. Let's see what's really worth it here. I think getting a couple upgrades in this one. 14. Can we do 15? 15. So $15. 15 per click. 75 per us, 150 for the jelly. Yeah, 150. Like this number 87 is gonna grow very much. Oh, and look at this. We have a final goose upgrade. They pick around once per second. I have to imagine it's somewhere faster than the previous once per second. So let's just add it there. And yeah, dare I say, noticeably faster. So this is pretty good. Oh, look at that. It said there that we had the biggest wool farm in the sector. Nice. That's pretty good. And whoa, okay, this next upgrade, which is before we get to $1 billion, so we're absolutely going to buy this, is going to allow us to have up to 500 million sheep spaces. That's a lot. That is a lot. What are we going to buy? We're going to buy the full hemisphere, fill your entire global hemisphere with Xeno sheep, employs new bendy laser tech to get those hard to reach places. So this laser is going to bend around the globe and reach everywhere for the whole hemisphere. That's pretty cool. That's pretty fun. What else can I do? Clone Tower, 8 million. I think I'm fine. Interesting. We haven't received anything new here. So I guess it was truly the final one. I guess this is it. It's just going to be me and my beautiful geese over here. Manual button. That's going to make our button even more. Ooh, wow. We went from 40 to 120. Oh, look at it. We got drum monkeys now. Genetically engineered button pressing monkeys. Hits the button with both hands. It increases the speed with every level. Interesting. And this one's going to give us a 13 output. In case you didn't notice, it says here that it increases according to the Fibonacci sequence. So right now it's 8. Next time it's going to be 13. It's just going to keep going with the Fibonacci sequence. I don't know if it's going to stop or it just keeps going for a long time. But yeah, the Fibonacci sequence is a pretty good sequence if we want to get upgrades. I wish more upgrades over here had a Fibonacci sequence to them, but we'll live with it. This is incredible. This is like very nice, especially for the jelly. We are not necessarily clicking that much, but if I were to click, look at that. With 120 per click, we are essentially matching our 10 geese. Yeah, we're clicking about the equivalent of 8 geese right now, so that's pretty strong for me. We can make it to jelly better. Now the jelly will do 360 per pop. Basically, it's the equivalent of 3 clicks. That's okay. Clone Tower, 8 million. Yeah, right. Everybody clicks get better. In fact, look at the Clone Tower. It's looking way more fancy now. Interesting. So what is the actual real upgrade I want to focus on next? I'm not interested in the Scarecrow upgrade actually for now. The hawk population, it will stop the hawk population permanently. So I think it's like just a max out. No more hawks ever. But hawks are not really an issue. These eco sects are the real problem. The monkey technology seems fine, right? It's okay. I think the subliminal multimedia advertising is a real thing forward, maybe. I don't know. How much does this cost? 89 million? That's not bad. I'll give you that much. But I think the two main things I want to maximize now are production of sheep to get it to 1 million. Damn, I didn't realize it was going from 1 million to 500 million. In my head, it was like 100 million. I don't know why. But so the main things I want to maximize are the money and the sheep spaces, maybe. Like 1 million, damn, 500 million would make it so like we wouldn't have to worry about storage for an extremely long time. Oh, that's a tough one. I think I'm gonna go for the money first and then the sheep, right? You can let me know if you disagree, honestly. I'm kind of curious if anybody would choose to do a different thing, like maybe manual button pressing. Like maybe for you, this is the real way forward, me just spam clicking and maxing out the number of sheep we have. I don't know. It's more of an idler game. I don't know to what degree we really want to care about the active component of our game. But you know what? It is a game that doesn't have any progression offline. So in a way, the game does want me to play as much as possible. We are almost at $1 billion and we cannot have that yet. We purchased the upgrade to 500 million sheep, and since our storage is starting to become more of a precious resource or limited resources, let's get a couple of rockets going. Make sure that money keeps flowing beautifully. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Great. What is the next upgrade? A sheep planet for a couple trillion? That's insane. We're not even at $1 billion yet. Well, we're close to $1 billion, but this is going to let us clone to up to 1 billion sheep. You know what? Maybe we can make that a next target. No, wait, if we're at 500 million, it probably won't be. Maybe it will. We'll see. We'll see. But for now, the target is it's 1 billion. And I think before we get 1 billion, I will buy a couple more upgrades. Let's start with the monkeys. Why not? Let's start with the discount on the sheep. Now they cost 50 cents each. What is the next upgrade going to be? How much is this costing? 8 million? That's a bit pricey. But what if this? 25 cents? It's really not that expensive, but sure thing. Go ahead. 25 cents per clone. $3.75 per 15 clones. That's not bad. Oh, okay. The monkey is actually doing is twice as good as the geese. Well, kinda. It does 30, but it clicks a lot more slowly than the geese. I have to imagine that's the case. Oh, final planning phase. Begin assembling the final components for the mega structure, the Clontaculus. Okay. Clones are now free due to on-site clone goo generation from orbital facilities. It's going to make it free, so that's kind of cool. Maybe you'll get that. A second monkey is going to cost 4.7 billion, but isn't this also? Oh, this increases the speed of the monkey. But also I think it's increasing the clones per hit because that's the one metric is showing us. A little bit unclear on that one. But let's get the final upgrade so clones are free forever. And yeah, we're not spending any money now. So now if we are essentially losing tons of sheep to these things, doesn't matter. It doesn't cost a penny out of our pockets. The Clontaculus. It's finally ready. The ultimate cloning machine. 100-mile wide mechanical tariff duplication technology. Makes 1,000 clones at a time when charged. Button presses charges the relay machine. Interesting. This is 8 billion, so obviously it's going to show up in the next episode, but quite interesting. Quite the upgrade. I'm somewhat tempted to get the jelly better. From 240 to 360, it doesn't really matter actually. I don't think it does. Maybe actually this might be better. I don't super care. We are at 500,000 sheep. We're nearing towards 1 million sheep. We're nearing towards $1 billion. I think everything is coming up. Blueberry Farms. I mean, look at this gorgeous stuff. Now, look at how fast this is piling up. Is it time for us to consider more storage, or is it worth for us to consider an upgrade to the rockets? I mean, this is an insane upgrade for the rockets. They go from carrying 350 tons, 350, all the way to carrying 850. That's a pretty big increase, and it should be able to address whatever increase in storage we're facing, what increase in storage limitations we're facing. On the other hand, we could always go with the media advertising, which we do need. It's $5 extra. It's worth it, I think. And look at that. What is that thing? Is that, you see that image? Is that this guy? He's kind of like new understanding of cognition to secretly market your wool products. I guess this is Mr. Finn Dorset, who's going to be going into the subliminal advertising space. I mean, we got to the point where we can afford either one of them. So at this point, and the storage is still doing fine. It's not insane, but doing fine. So let's get that at better pricing. Uh, Now we get $30 per wool kilogram of wool. That's really good. Let's see. Actually, let's check how much we make per rocket. 10 million. 10 million per rocket. That's a nice payday. I am excited about that. We can also afford a new rocket if we start to get close to the storage, but I think it's just that much quicker to wait it out from this nearly 400 million to 600 million. Like it's that much quicker. Unfortunate part of the game is that a lot of it involves waiting. So there's been many cuts, I'm sure. You guys have been seeing those. But I'm hoping I'm taking out the boring stuff where we're just waiting around, maybe scrolling on my phone, going to the restroom, doing something else, getting some snacks. That's been the experience, at least on my end. It's very cool. It's a very pretty game. I love the incremental things and the art associated with these incremental growths. But the growth slows down very gradually to a crawling pace. And I think that's going to be something that's going to be somewhat of a theme for this game. It is what it is. If you want to enjoy it and kind of put it on the second screen and you kind of like do your thing in the meantime and then this happens in the background and occasionally you click over, I think that's perfect for this game. But it's just something you have to be aware of. Like you cannot expect it to be always on top of it. Like you can always have something to do. There's a lot more idler games, have other ways to keep your attention. This one really, it's about waiting at some point. We are at 540. It's been pretty close to get to that. Like one trip from each of these rockets should get us to that 600 milli that we've been aiming for. What about these guys? These guys barely do 500,000. They are not necessarily the ones who are going to carry us over the finish line with that 600 million target. But we are only 10 million away. So this rocket, when it leaves, there we go. Now these things are going to empty the whole storage. Basically, one rocket can almost carry the entirety of our storage. That's insane. And that's great. But also, we're going to have to get a little bit more storage because, yeah, look at this. It fills up to the max so quickly in the absence of rockets. So, on the bright side, though, damn, one rocket and we are maybe, I don't know exactly how much rocket made it for us. That one that basically got that 850 tons, but it's a lot. Oh, nice. Next up, we're going to get space lift technology that's going to carry 10,000 tons. So this is definitely a target for next episode. This one's going to increase the price from 30 to 35. Definitely more for next episode. It's almost exactly $1 billion on the dot. And we are almost there. At this point, we're just printing money in 994. We're up to $1 billion. We have made it. Storage is still looking good. The rockets are doing fine. We're getting lots of sheep. We're almost at 1 million sheep. But overall, we accomplished the goal for this episode to become billionaires. The next goal, of course, trillionaires. Actually, you know what? We're going to do more than trillionaires. We're going to aim to get 1 billion sheep next episode. I think that's a real plan, which should place us well above billionaires. I mean, well above trillionaires. So I think that could be a fun plan. Please like the like button, smash the smash button. Those are great ways to let me know they enjoyed the content. But I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.